Welcome to You Brew Kombucha. This is your guide to knowing when your brew is done and ready to bottle. You're waiting for your home brew to ferment. You've already watched my video on first fermentation and what to expect during first fermentation. Now we're gonna walk through how to tell if your brew is done and ready to bottle. The easy answer is that it's done when it tastes done to you. So what does that really mean? A lot of people recommend that you taste your kombucha a few times during the fermentation process so that you can familiarize yourself with how acidic it gets over time. I don't recommend tasting it during the first few days of fermentation because it'll likely be too sweet anyway, and because that's when your SCOBY is trying to form, but I'd say it's probably safe to start tasting it at around day 5 or 6. Since I'm familiar with how long it takes for my brew to ferment, I typically don't start tasting it until around day 7. The easiest way to do this is just to take a straw and take some of the liquid out and taste it yourself. I like to use a wine thief only because it's fun to shout, "There's a thief in the house!" But you can use whatever. It should have a nice acidic tang, but it shouldn't be overpowering. But really, you can bottle it whenever it tastes right to you. Some people like to let it go longer and get even more acidic. Some people like to bottle it while it's a little bit on the sweeter side. It's really up to you how acidic and how sweet you want it to be. If your kombucha tastes too sweet, all you have to do is let it ferment a little bit longer. The longer you let it ferment, the more the yeast will eat up that sugar. If you taste it and it feels a little too vinegary, you can go ahead and bottle it. If you want to offset how vinegary it is, just make sure that you use flavorings that are on the sweeter side to help balance that out. For more information on flavoring, check out my video on flavoring. A common misconception is that you can use pH strips or a pH testing meter to tell when your brew is done. pH doesn't measure doneness and it doesn't measure sugar content. So even though you can use a pH meter just to tell if your brew is acidifying and fermenting at a good pace, it's not really gonna tell you whether your brew is gonna be ready to bottle or not. The best thing you can do is just taste it. If you want more information on checking the pH of your brew, be sure to check out my video on pH. After about 4 or 5 days of it going through the first fermentation process, it'll be ready to drink. But for the most part, it'll still be too sweet for most people's palates to actually drink it at that stage. So you can let it go longer, but pretty much at any stage of the process, it's already got a lot of that good bacteria and yeast that's really great for your gut. Some people like their kombucha on the sweeter side, and some people like it on the drier side. It really is just up to your personal preference. But for me, I love flavoring it with lots of different types of fruits and herbs, and I love building up that carbonation. For me, that's what makes this whole thing so great. So if you're like me and want to build up that great carbonation and want to flavor your kombucha with a limitless variety of fruits and herbs, check out my next video on bottling. And as always, if you want more information and details, check out youbrewkombucha.com. Happy brewing!